Good afternoon, Fabio Donetti. We're going to cover the week of September 3rd to September 6th for Winston Capital Advisors. And we got another great week. The S&P, the Dow Jones, added 394 points or 1.5%. For the S&P, 1.8, and the Nasdaq another 1.8%. So, funny enough, or interesting enough, the S&P blew through their maximum or through their resistance point of 228.40. We're just about 2% of the all-time highs, and we're going to tell you why we think that was what happened and why we think there is some more to come. But before, let's go some of the stuff that happened this week. We keep having the tsunami of the dollar. We have the Hurricane Dorian that, thankfully enough, didn't do a lot of damage, went barreling through the coast, and finally landed in Halifax, or of all places, in Canada over the weekend. But it doesn't seem like there was a lot of damage there, although we have serious damage in the Bahamas. But in the meantime, the tsunami of the dollar, the trade-weighted index of the dollar, is at the all-time high, or at the highest since 2002. This is mainly, as we've been saying here many times, because people are looking for yield. The negative rates are in Europe. $16 trillion of government bonds are all in negative yield. People are coming for yield to the United States, and here they find it, although a paltry 1.45% on the 10-year, just below 2% on the 30-year, but at least better than nothing. And these are nominal rates. Real rates are probably zero or slightly negative, but forget about Europe. Now, the American corporations are not ignoring that, and we have another tsunami of issuance. We have 49 deals in 30 hours last week. People like Apple issue I think a few billion at 30 years. Berkshire Hathaway issue in yen. IBM and many other corporations took the advantage to get bonds out there to the investors. Excuse me. Why the market is rallying? Two elements that we think are very important. Number one, the numbers. Look at the numbers and forget everything else. The media, the commentators, everybody's talking about the impending, the coming recession. Maybe, but not so far. The ISM, the non-manufacturing index, it blew. It was expected at 54, came at 56. The manufacturing was slightly weaker, but then the business activity is shoot up. And remember, most of the American economy is services, non-manufacturing, like Europe. That's more important than looking at the manufacturing numbers. With these numbers on Friday, the market rallied. Later on, we have the labor report that, although below expectations, the market was looking at 160,000. It came at 130,000. Still was a very positive number. So, we're dispelling, we're climbing a wall of worry. And also remember, we started September last week. Vacations are over. Everybody's back. Everybody had to think about year-end. What are you going to do for year-end? And the market needs to go somewhere. And people, go back, go put the flip-flops away and the rubber duckies, and they started working on what's going to happen. So that's out there for most of the world. As I said, we have a great labor report, good ISM report, and finally, China and the U.S. officially say that in October they will restart conversations. Are they going to get a deal? Who knows? But we have official conversations starting between these two guys. Going to the emerging markets, Argentina, late, but somehow they put a new FX regime, do some restrictions, there is some FX controls with a date to finish December 31st. But the main thing on the markets is no one is going to do much until we have a new administration. There's an 85-90% that the new administration will be Alberto Fernandez. And with him, you will have to deal and see what happens. The market now is thinking that you will have to select 2 out of 3 outcomes. 1, extension of time or maturities. 2, cut in the coupons. Most coupons are 7-8%. They could be cut in half. And 3, we might take some principal cut of 20-30%. No one knows, but maybe it's a combination. As I say, investors are not going to put much attention to President Macri ideas when most likely, A, we have elections on October 29, B, change of command is December the 10th, and C, most likely after the primaries, he has a very slim chance of winning. So everybody's looking at Alberto Fernandez. He went to Europe. His vice president, Christina Kirchner, is not a friend of international investors. So we are waiting to see what happens, and that's why we have this huge thing. The market is more stable in Argentina. That's better. There is some rallies because also on September 15, which is next Sunday, the IMF has to decide whether they're going to give them the 5.4 billion in the package. And interestingly enough, September 12, Christine Lagarde steps down, and Kristalline, I forgot her last name, the new head of the IMF, will take over and see how they decide, or they decide yes or no. There is a lot of rumors. Yes, maybe here. Fernandez says, don't give the money because we need to see what happens. We will see what's the story. We'll follow closely. For now, the market is more stable. We're staying out. We took our losses the day after the primaries, and we're looking from the sidelines to wait and see what's the story in Argentina. For this coming week, on Tuesday, not a lot of news. Apple will introduce the new Apple iPhone 11. There is not a lot of expectation, like always. Maybe there is something, maybe there is nothing, but the big thing will be 5G, the super promising ultra high speeds for internet, and it looks like some of the phones will be equipped with 5G, although still the networks are behind in deploying that. And then WeWork, which wants to go public as of Friday, was thinking of the last round of financing was 47 billion, was trying to think about 45 billion. It looks like now we'll go at half that valuation. A lot of questions about the accounting, the behavior of the company. But to simplify, basically, it's a company that takes 10 to 20-year leases on properties, do not own them, so you don't get the appreciation. Most of the properties are in 20 to 10-year leases and then rented short-term, basically daily, monthly to users. So a model that it runs a lot of risk. And in many markets in the world, like in the US, for instance, for every 10 years of lease, you get 1 year free. So they have been taking a lot of 20-year leases, so you get 2 years free, and you get them front-loaded. So for the first 2 years, WeWork is not paying the leases. In year 2, they will start paying the leases, so they better be fully occupied with the millennials, the startups, and the whole thing that they do. A lot of questions in the market. Remember, we have the same with Uber, with Lyft, with Slack. All these companies are very interesting, but when you dig into the models, are less clearly. Look at Spotify, has not moved in 2 years after coming public. So not all these unicorns are as unicorn as they seem. That's all we have. Let's hope you guys have a great week. Like always, 8:45 every day live with Winston Capital. Have a great week.